Now, Kahlo, you had posed this question to the group as we were talking about forming this week's episode, and I think that given some of what we've seen in the trailer and some of our discussion, that this is a pretty apt discussion to have. So you want to?
Yeah. Basically, I mean, a lot of us are wondering what comes next, right? Not just with the Dragon Song War, with all of those loose ends that we seem to have that have been being set up throughout all of Heaven's Ward. Everyone's wondering what's going to happen. And this isn't the first time that it's happened. And when stuff like these narrative things end up coming down the drain, I think there is sometimes a lot of lashback against things, such as the Sultana not actually dying,
right?
And I think what I'd like to pose to you guys today is what types of plot twists or what type of narratives would you like to see in the game, but probably, likely, never ever will?
So things that are never going to happen.
Yeah,
like
but
a little more dark,
but they're never going to happen.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's stuff that's a little more dark. Maybe it's not. I mean, it doesn't have to be dark stuff, but what do you think would improve the narrative, or what do you think would be a good direction for it that Square Enix, for whatever reason, just won't take? I mean, obviously, we've talked to death the idea that the Sultana stayed dead.
Permanent character death.
And honestly, I think that something like permanent character death is probably going to be a very strong contender amongst all of us.
Sure.
But that's because something like that, if it isn't overused, Game of Thrones, can be extremely powerful motivating factor.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, Escalia, why don't you go first?
On the note of real consequences, I would say the thing that I would like to see is like this whole game we've had the calamity, and then we had the war with the Garleans. Now we've got Ishgard, Dragon Song War. It's always war or these big battles, and too often it feels like there isn't real consequence to those wars and to those battles. I would like to see something major happen when we go to 4.0, when we start doing the Alamigo thing. I would like to see the Garleans come down and burn Ul'dah to the ground. Raise it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You didn't feel like there were consequences to the end of 2.0 when the fucking Scions were fucking completely disgraced?
They were undone.
When we spent half of this expansion trying to get them back together, when we thought that the Sultana had been murdered, when Alphinaud went through this whole big, like, crisis of faith because he thought that he was a fucking failure in every respect.
Right.
Whoa, none of that was consequence to you.
If that was all still how things were, I wouldn't be saying this right now.
Well, obviously, you dig yourself out of that hole.
Well, no, but like you dig yourself out of that, you find all your Scions who are dead. We've pretty much confirmed they're all still alive.
Well, there's an ebb and a flow.
I guess.
We go down, we're back up, and at the end of this, something else will probably happen that'll take us down
But
again.
that doesn't feel like if your whole game has all these major calamities and wars, there should be real loss. There should be things like I look at these wars and just say,
I guess
great.
Escalia doesn't consider Hearts and Farce a real loss.
No, I don't.
Well, I mean, if you consider that that's really the only loss that we've had in like 3 years.
True. I think what you're looking for isn't just loss or consequences, because we get that. I think you need some type of permanent visual representation of that loss. You need a scar that doesn't go away,
or something,
or a big hole.
Yeah, something that something that majorly affects my character. Where like I will think like, I want to be worried when I go do something. Like, what are going to be the consequences of me doing this?
Imagine that the Sultana had stayed dead.
Sure.
Okay. And at the end of, or at the beginning of 3.0, for example, when everything gets okay in Ul'dah, what we do is we resurrect a monument to her. Now, there's this giant Sultana statue, right? And then one of the people from the Telegio Legends little...
Syndicate?
The Syndicate staged some type of terrorist attack that blow that fucking statue to hell. So now whenever you load into Ul'dah, the first thing you see is this disfigured statue of the Sultana.
Yeah. You're right.
Cool.
It's some sort of, but you got it. Some sort of symbol of loss that isn't just taken away in a few patches.
Well, like
I think the thing with what he's saying is I totally agree is that death has almost no meaning unless they're like a side random character. Like every single person that has died in this game has come back to life or not really dead. And so the thing is that also not having consequences that we know, oh, so and so died. Oh, it doesn't matter. They'll be back in a patch.
Who believes in this room right now that any of the Scions are going to die for good?
I still don't think Minfilia is actually dead. No.
Yeah. I'm never worried about any of them dying. I don't think Alfionel is going to ever die. I doubt Eimeric's going to die.
Minfilia exploded.
Brienne of Tarth might die. Brienne of Tarth might get killed.
No, well, because there's still more about her character, because she's Garlean.
I bet she'll play a bigger role if we end up going to, Paplimo and Yida take us to...
So Alamigo.
Alamigo, yeah, I'm sure she'll probably play a pretty big role over there.
Most of the major characters, you're not actually worried about them dying. That's why Orshafant was powerful, because he was, for the time, a major character. And when he died, you're like, oh, shit.
Right.
That's something.
I think he could have been more powerful, because
I agree.
I mean, a lot of us going into Heaven's War were just like, who the fuck is this guy? Oh yeah, him. I guess.
Oh, Hot Chocolate Dude.
Oh, that
he's
guy.
back.
Oh, yeah.
I think obviously it affected some people more than others, Malkyria. Honestly, I thought that Harchefart, while he was sort of out of left field, I thought he was a safe death.
Yeah, he was, because at the end of the day, it's like, who would have been bigger in that storyline? Like,
Emmerich.
Eimerich would be major.
Maybe now, but even at that point, Emmerich dying.
How about Tataru?
Tataru would have been big.
Yes.
Tataru would have been big.
So by the way, we've now got our phone lines all sorted out. If you want to call in, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We've got Nika back on her own computer, I guess now with Windows 10.
She's really great.
Yeah.
I like
Is it running smoother?
She's 10 times as good.
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound. 10
times 0 is still 0.
It doesn't sound any better being on Windows 10, but
I'm sorry. 10 times 1 is still
Nika, that 10. Is, by the way, I just want to point out that is not your fault. It is 100% of Skype's fault, because Skype is awful. Everything about Skype is awful. So anyway, thank you guys for putting up with our technical limitations today. We're going to go to our phone lines here in just a second, as soon as we've got Malkyria of Sergeant Canis ready to go.
She's going to call in and yell at us.
That should probably be expected. So, okay, meaningful character, like...
extermination, let's call it.
It doesn't even have to be characters. That's why I was thinking, what if the whole city of Ul'dah was burned down, and everything gets flipped on its ear, and now there's refugees going into Alamigo in the next expansion?
That's a little bit what you got with the Calamity, though. You
can't actually burn a whole town, because you can't eliminate an entire zone where other people will be. So it's like, if you never complete the storyline, you can access Ul'dah, but if you do, you can't ever go back. I don't think they could actually do that.
But I think
the segment is things that will never actually happen.
Well, no, but I think a fucked up Ul'dah, I
thought, what if Alamigo becomes that new starter area? Everything kind of shifts there, and then the ruins of Ul'dah are one of your dungeons.
Yeah, it would be neat, but or you
have burned down Ul'dah, the ruins of Ul'dah.
I thought we were going for things that wouldn't happen, but would be cool if it did happen.
You can you can still do that with phasing technology, where people just see it differently, as long as you don't put giant pillars, right in the way of something like that.
You know what? No. You know what? If you want to make a big impact on the community, burn Ul'dah to the ground. You can't go there ever again. The end. End of discussion.
But they play it too safe.
They do play it too safe.
Mm-hmm. Well, how would you do that from a technical level, though? Because you would have... I mean, Nika's not wrong. You would have adventurers leveling and playing in that area up until they got to some point in the narrative, not even in the leveling process, but in the narrative, and then what?
Just remove remove the zone lines from Ul'dah and put pillars there. And if you have your home point set there, you're going to be burning and dying. If you
make a new character.
Here's the problem with that: is every single quest that takes you to Ul'dah now has to be rewritten,
or it's locked out, or it's locked out.
It's locked out forever. You suck.
If it's part of the MSQ, what, you just can't do the MSQ anymore?
Yeah, because what if you're a brand new player? It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Well, it would work. There'd just be a lot more behind it than just, just close it off.
There have been MMOs where things change over time, as you level, areas change. So you can make it that once you get to that point in the storyline, Ul'dah becomes locked out.
I think you can make it look ruined. You can take the walls and put crushed pieces in them. You can take buildings and take chunks off of the roofs. I think that would be possible. And then you could still explore Ul'dah, and the same NPCs would be there.
That was my point.
And their flavor text would be fuck everything.
Would be different. Yeah.
So you could definitely do that, but I don't think you could literally eliminate a main city's town.
I'd be okay with that if they took a part of Ul'dah and made it inaccessible. It doesn't have to be anything huge, but just some part of Ul'dah is now crushed. I don't know.
What major quests are even in Ul'dah? Like, obviously, the main storyline quest, like,
It starts
after,
there.
End of 2.55 and the start.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but, like, after, like, let's say 3.33, they burn Ul'dah to the ground. Obviously, there won't be any main storyline quests there after 3.33 or 3.5.
See, I thought the way that you were talking about it was going forward, like from this day when this patch
Oh,
drops. That's
no.
it. Nobody can go back to it anymore. We're removing it from the game.
I think
No.
Jux and I were looking at like maybe with 4.0.
Yeah, like,
doing
have,
that,
have
having
a
that be
big
part of the
event.
Alamigo storyline. While we're taking back Alamigo, the Guardian's like, fuck you, we're taking Ul'dah.
Yeah, see, the reason that I don't think that would be as impactful as doing like a cataclysm is, oh, well, I miss Ul'dah, so just make a fucking alt and go hang out in Ul'dah. You
Yeah.
know, like if it's
Yeah, and it's
actually
also like they're a job guild thing. You
permanently
can't just not
remove-
level jobs anymore.
well,
because
no,
you can't get
obviously
to
you would just have to move them somewhere else, Nika, but that's just the thing. That would take an incredible amount of work.
And it takes away so much from the narrative too, because part of them being in Ul'dah is a thing. Like Raubon's from Ul'dah; those jobs
Right.
are in Ul'dah. Like
all
it
of
doesn't.
that, again, all of that would just change.
All right, so
That wouldn't be worth it.
I would like to talk about something. I'd actually like
Sure.
to. I'd like to kick off of Escalia's point, and I know a lot of people right off the bat, like
I'd like
99%
just
of
to
you,
kick Escalia.
are gonna disagree with me. Okay, but I wish they wouldn't have killed Minfilia because I think it was fucking lazy. I think the reason they decided to do what they did with her was because nobody liked her. They all thought that she was useless, and what they even used her for was a throwaway. Oh well,
I don't
you know,
think she's dead.
the crystal.
Yeah.
The crystal needed her power to tell us what the fucking Asians are up
I
to.
see.
See, my reasoning behind it too is literally just the fact that she didn't get a cool new outfit. And I'm telling you, for purpose of FanFest and cosplayers and all this shit, she came back in a nightgown. This isn't going to happen. She died. Her physical form has died, and she's going to come back as some like, I don't know, some
She's gonna
crazy being, and she's going to have this badass outfit, and she's going to come in and be this like godlike figure, and she's not dead. She's
Yeah,
absolutely not dead.
she's going to come back tempered by the Mother Crystal.
All right. Well, I wish that she would have just came back. We would have found her normally, right? And instead, I wish that some of the scions throughout Heaven's Ward would have died off, and them
Yeah.
dying. That tempers her character into some type of new badass.
They should have-
because taking a character that was previously hated by all the players and finding a way to elevate her back up and making her a favorite,
making that character
would have
pop.
been a lot more meaningful than just being like, ah, shit, they don't like her.
My
agree,
only
but
problem is that
instead-
like we would have had this story arc of her like she's now failed as a leader of the Scions. The Scions, a lot of them have died, and that's the same story arc that Alphina was already going through.
Yeah, but you could have also used that to perform all kinds of juxtapositions.
What?
I fucking hate that
What?
that's your goddamn name.
It's not. It's
Juxtalandis.
Juxtalandis.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah, duh.
And use that as as like a foil to Alpha now,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
I think
she handles it awesome, and he sucks.
No, I think
Or
that totally
no,
would
could
have
have
worked,
even
but
it
instead,
could have handled it even badly, and maybe Alpha now tries to help her through that because he's been through it before. But all the things that he's learned, it's just not working with her. It's on a deeper,
Yeah.
more personal level.
that would have been really cool. But instead, they're trying to do that with Thancred because, like, now that Minfilia is dead, we're getting all this character development of how Thancred really cared about her and all
Right.
this stuff. And
Well,
we're
I
like,
think we're
everybody
getting it from
already
everybody.
liked.
I mean,
everybody
even-
already liked Thancred. Like, we
Even
don't need that
Y'shtola.
character development there.
Yeah, we're even getting some
Y'shtola too.
hints about Y'shtola too. So I mean, they're doing a really good job with them. I'm sure with Populamo and Yitta, we're gonna get a lot of that as well. They
don't know anything that's going on as far as we know.
No, we don't.
It's gonna really suck if you guys are right and they bring her back and she's just magically changed, because then that means she got all this change, but in the most lazy way possible,
Right.
with
Yeah.
no actually substance
It
to
was just
it.
imparted upon her
Yeah.
rather than having her grow.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I really
true.
want one or three of the scions, like the popular ones, like Thancred, to sacrifice themselves for Minfilia because everyone hates her, like you said. So just have all the fan favorites
Just
throw
build her up as the
themselves
biggest heel.
Yeah,
throw themselves at Minfilia.
Minfilia becomes the new Bran. Yeah, my question is
door.
who would have to put Minfilia over to get the
Get her over as a face or
yeah,
as a
that's
heel?
right, to get her over as a face.
Well, there's an ancient thing. It's not what you do, it's who you do it to. So who do we hate more than Minfilia?
I don't think people hate Minfilia. It's just that we were upset that she was supposed to be a cool character and was kind of useless.
Who do we dislike more than Minfilia?
No, we hate Minfilia.
Minfilia gets
Shut up.
Minfilia gets endlessly kidnapped for the entirety of 2.0 and is totally useless. Yeah, I think that most people do not like Minfilia. I don't know. I don't know who you would have
So
to put her over.
So you're saying we have to kill someone to make people like Minfilia?
Yeah,
What about-
Minfilia's got to come in and kill someone. What if she came in and killed the Warriors of Dark?
I would enjoy if she comes back and she's still like she resumes being leader of the Silence, but now she's just like ruthless aggression. She's like, I'm never taking that chance again.
Oh my god, you know what would be so cool? What if, all right, so Minfilia isn't just brought back by the Mother Crystal. Someone finds a way to bring her back, but it's out of left field. We don't actually know about it until it happens, and that person has to sacrifice themselves to do it, and it's Tataru.
What if she gets brought back, but she's not brought back by the Warriors of Light? She's brought back by the Warriors of Dark, and now she's leading them.
That would be fucking sweet.
No, I got it. Even better. She's being brought back by a shadowy figure, and we try to. And this shadowy figure, we have to help them, and so we help them. But the shadowy figure is an Ascian, and now the Ascians have a way into the Mother Crystal through corrupted Minfilia.
Brutal.
Or she's somehow gets sent back down to the living realm, but she's so fucked up. Garlemald gets a hold of her, and she's in the next expansion as an enemy as we go ahead, Garlemald.
No, what I think is that I think your party should be up against something that is like undefeatable. You know you're gonna die. Like this thing is coming at you, right? And you're just like you're just filled with dread. You know that you're gonna get fucked up by this thing. There's no way to beat it, right?
Party of all ninjas.
Well, but you're with Merylweb, right? And so you've got your party. You're knocked out by this thing. Your party has to drag you out. Merylweb is caught. There's some weird time paradox that goes on, and Merylweb is left behind to hold the door.
God damn it!
It's like
Can we mind control
I wanted a bigger reaction out of Nika, because Nika was really upset by that Game of
Nika
Thrones.
has talked it to death this week. Her reactions are numb.
But I do think a time paradox or something like that is a really interesting narrative aspect.
I'm so tired of that shit, though.
But they did
always so many things that bother the shit out of me with time paradoxes, though.
They used that pretty heavily in Wings of the Goddess for 11, so I'm not sure how they could do it in a way that doesn't just call back to Wings of the Goddess.
Well,
but I do like when a time paradox is done well, I think that is a very good narrative aspect to bring into your game.
We've seen Louis Suisse send us 5 years into the future this game. There is a grounds for time travel.
Honestly,
that is true.
The way to do it is to literally make our character Bran. We already have the Echo, which is literally just witnessing events of the past. All you have to do is make an Echo effect actually have someone notice us there and go from there.
The three-eyed Minfilia.
Like, we're watching something in the past
The
and
three-eyed
someone notices us and it changes everything.
Yes, we are going to be the three-eyed Calibri. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I like this idea. No, but I mean, Game of Thrones was a great example of how you can do a time paradox very, very well. And
we have to see where it goes, because I'm very bothered by the Game of Thrones time paradox. But
it's okay.
But it's, no matter what, it's a good narrative device. It's powerful. And it was a very powerful episode.
And it's been used to great effect in a whole lot of other things that I really like. So.
Now, there's actually someone else who had an idea. We're going to call it an idea, all right? And it actually comes from our very own Kooky, the Firewall persona. Is it possible to get her in here to talk to her about this idea? Because I have some questions on how she sees it working.
Is she connected?
Yeah, we got.
I'm
we
here.
got Kooky.
Hi,
Hey,
hey, what's
Kooky.
up, Kook? How's it going?
Hey.
So
How's it going?
So I don't know if when you said this, if you were being completely serious or not, but we're going to put you on the spot now. And you said that they should kill off a class.
Yeah, what if they do? Like,
What did you mean by that?
Well, like, what if SC say, hey, they're just going to implement this? Like, I'm just going to put this out there. Dragon Song War is over. Estinian did a bad example of Dragoon, so we're just going to kill off Dragoon and replace it with a different class.
So, like, they're banning Dragoons?
Yeah.
So how do you then, like, all the people who are already Dragoons, like
Yeah, what do you do with
They
them?
just become Lancers.
Replace it.
You get to pick another job at the same level, and you get gear compensation.
No, they'll be replaced by a different class.
Or we get transferred to whatever the new
Hold on,
class
hold
is.
yeah, I think it would have to be
Exactly.
a narrative choice.
I was
It would
going to
have
say,
to,
hold
like-
on. That's what I'm talking about. Narratively, what stops the character of Escalia Ryumasa from going, no, fuck this. I'm going to keep practicing the art of Dragoonism.
The Rebel Dragoon.
It'll be
Yeah.
gone. It'll be replaced by something else.
Okay, but you're
But
talking,
narratively,
you're
why
talking
is my character
mechanically.
stopping being a Dragoon.
Right. Why would Ascalia stop being a Dragoon?
All right, you know what? Fuck it. I'm never gonna get this goddamn wyvern. I quit this job. I'm playing something else.
You can say that the soul crystals just lose their glow.
Exactly.
The machinist doesn't have a glow yet, though.
They could still be lancers.
But the Dragoon one could actually stop working. Maybe once we kill Nidhogg,
Mm-hmm.
you lose
and
the ability to be
eyes die,
Dragoons.
the Dragoons lose their power. And what you could do is, honestly, you can't make everyone who's a Dragoon not a Dragoon. It's just once you get to that point in the story, your soul crystal fucks up and you turn into
Paralyzes
something else.
you.
All right.
Turn into something else.
No, you go into a coma.
But why remove content? It seems like you would have to replace it with something, and there would have to be. I feel like there would have to be a development reason for that.
All Dragoons become Beastmasters.
I would shit a
Why
brick.
not?
I'd be so happy. I would lose my
Oh,
mind.
damn. They become puppet masters.
I don't care. Pet job. I'll take
Shit.
it. I would lose my mind. I would be rock hard for the next 3 years.
I mean, it would be a brave decision. I just don't know from a technical standpoint how they would be able to pull something like that off.
As a Dragoon, I would say that's ballsy as shit. Like,
I mean, it would
it'd
be
be something
something like-
original to a game that I've never heard of happening in any MMO ever. And it would that'd be so gutsy.
But how many people would you end up alienating with a decision like that? Because a lot of these decisions like that seems to be
People
the
are attached to
counterbalance.
jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. People are. I mean,
Are Dragoons really attached to their jobs? Do you think that's the case?
I think they're pretty attached to the
do.
ground.
Yeah,
Okay,
like their
let's say
face.
they
very
could be a dragon
grounded. That's
rider
correct.
instead of a Dragoon. Like, what if something, like they learn to fight alongside their dragons? Like, what if, your soul crystal dies and you turn into something that's very similar to a Dragoon and it plays like a Dragoon, but it's not a Dragoon?
Yes, at the end of the Crystal War, or at the end of the Dragon Song War, as part of the peace, they have Ishgard has to do away with the Dragoon practice as part of their peacekeeping with the dragons. And now you have Dragon Knights where they work in tandem with
That's
dragons
actually kind of
instead.
interesting.
Yeah, and
That would be
Hey.
fucking
Wow.
boss.
Play the same, but have things be called different things.
Yeah,
Actually-
you just become Dragon Knight.
Yeah, Ascalia just made it click for me. Like
Yes.
that made it click for me. I get that. That would
Why
be
does
that
this
would
have to be
really
things that
cool.
are never going to happen?
That
That's
would
just
be,
the way things are,
And then you
Hollow,
get
but
your
that's a
wyvern
great
head.
idea. Thank
Fuck
you
off.
for that.
The other thing, which I wasn't gonna bring it, was it's dumb as shit, but I did talk to Skuro a little bit about this idea.
Biggest dude ever.
Now, hold on. First of all, he started by recanting his space station idea. He says the only reason he brings it up now is to get on your nerves, okay? But what he thinks,
Yeah, sure. Okay.
what he thinks now is that, because it's unrealistic that the fucking Garleans would be in space. He gets that now. But what if
now.
hidden deep underground
Well, hold
there was
on.
a subterranean Garlean missile silo?
God. Oh,
Damn, I'm good.
The Omega missile.
you guys are fucking retarded.
I told him.
No,
Skuro,
Skuro did
you're
have
an
a
idiot.
good idea, though,
You're
Kyle.
an idiot, Skuro.
Actual good idea.
Did I just
Nika,
blow
don't
your
make us
mind?
mute you.
Because I like it too. I could present it too.
Well, then present it as your idea. Duh.
Okay, the idea is just the fact that, especially since Ishgard has joined the fray, all of the nations are literally just kind of like kumbaya and best friends. And that I feel like that even in a world like this, I know we're united against a common front, and maybe that makes sense against Garlemald, but if there's no internal strife, there's no internal struggle, like I feel like there just should be something, like when everything, I mean, I think Skuro said when Adal shit went down and Limsa and Gridania just like pieced out.
Nope, that was actually me that said that.
Oh,
I
did you
took
say
his
that?
idea.
Okay.
Yeah, what's on the actual outline, that's me. But the idea that there should
that
be
there should be some kind of
conflict
struggle between the
us.
nations.
Yes.
That they're
Well,
two
okay,
at
I agree.
peace
I mean,
between
think
each
about
other.
it. These guys are they were general from the Calamity. They are fucking war buddies, right? And both Connie Senna and Merle Webb, when all that shit was going on in Ul'dah, when the Altana was murdered, when Raubon got his arm cut off, they pieced out. If I was
See,
Raubon, I'd be fucking, I'd feel a little betrayed.
I defended that in our original discussion, though, because if you think about it, Ul'dah and everyone part of it was being seen as a traitor, and in the interest of your nation, if she was to start
you're
something,
right. You're true from a political standpoint.
Yes, you are absolutely right. But explain
From a
that.
friendship
Hang on.
standpoint.
Explain that to Raubon, because he
Yeah.
just got his arm cut off, and I'm pretty sure at that point justifications start to mean a little bit
right, he'd
less.
feel betrayed probably.
Absolutely.
Like from a political standpoint, it's correct. Like you can't go to war with Ul'dah to reset their monarchy. But if you're Raubon, you're like,
Right.
Where's the fucking help, guys?
Yeah,
Did you pretend to try?
seriously. Yeah, I could see even in the interest of politics, yes, but Raubon holding that shit in his heart, because how can you not? How can you not? You're right.
Yeah.
Kyle, you're absolutely right. They did. They just pieced out. Bye.
And then Raubon didn't seem to have that many. I don't know. I feel like when Raubon was in the jail after that, I feel like he would have been stirring in all of these emotions and come back a little more fucked up when we rescued him. But instead, it was like nothing ever happened.
Just
he's
picture a
still
scene down the line
he's so zen.
Just picture a scene down the line where both Connie Senna and Merle Webb are like on the brink of death, and only Raubon can save him and be like, when you get to the Palace of the Dead, say hello to my arm, and just walks away.
To my arm.
Is it
I don't
just
think he would let him die.
Is it just me, or did they pull the trigger on saving Raubon way too quickly?
Yeah, because we thought for a while that Pippin was going to sort of replace him,
right?
But he didn't really need to.
Yeah, no.
Like even if we did rescue him that early, if he was fucked up and sort of just went off doing his own thing or whatever,
PTSD.
Exactly. Like they could have done so much with him.
Yeah, it is.
Squeenix.
It is pretty disappointing. Let's go to our phone lines. We've got Melchiria hanging out. Melchiria, welcome to Limit Break Radio.
Hi.
Hi.
How you feeling?
That sounds angry.
No, it's more. God, I'm exasperated more than anything.
She's distressed.
I am in distress.
Look, Mel, just take a deep breath and smile. It's more befitting of you.
That is pain right there. Do you hear that pain?
Hey, what's wrong?
Everything's wrong. Because
Malkyria, is there a hole in your heart?
Happening. Dragon Song War is gonna end. We're gonna be fucking fighting Nidhogg, and there's a fucking possibility that Istinia is going to possibly permanently fucking die.
It's not a possibility. It's happening.
He's going to die. You want to start prepping for that now.
I know that, but like, it's like I'm bracing myself for the pain because I know it's gonna come, but I know for a fact that no matter how much I prepare for it, it's still going to fucking
maybe we'll get lucky and they'll do one of those things where shit it does look like he's gonna be okay. Then no, the axe, he is actually fucking dead.
Oh man, if they don't pull the trigger on actually fully killing Estinian,
the final boss of the expansion,
then we can pretty much guarantee that we'll see Hearts and Parts again.
It has to be Imeric or Estinian.
It has to go. Both of them preferably.
Oh god, don't.
Emmerich sacrifices himself.
Yes. Emmerich is set up. Emmerich's character is set up for self-sacrifice. That is what yes.
Emmerich is like the Raubon of Ishgard. He's not going anywhere.
What if Imeric gives his life trying to save Estinian, and he thinks he does, and then Estinian just stabs him in the back and kills him?
That would be okay. I'd be cool with that.
That would be good. Yes. That would be great. Well, because you've got, I mean, there is that line in there, if I have to kill my best friend, you know what I mean? Like, like that, I think that, we have seen some of their relationship played out on screen, but I think we're going to maybe get a little bit more depth on that subject because this is two characters that have had a long-standing relationship and are very good friends, and now it's coming to a final confrontation.
Okay. I'm gonna pitch an idea to you guys.
Okay.
Right? So we're fighting Nidhogg, and he's like big giant Nidhogg, right? Let's say Emmerich's there helping us in some way. At the end, he turns into sort of like this half-breed between the two, right? He looks more human than he does dragon.
Right.
Why would Emmerich turn into a half-dragon?
Hold on, I'm talking about Estinian. What if we manage to take one of the eyes, and that's why he reverts back into this lesser form, right? And then as we're fighting him, Emmerich comes in for the final blow. The eye takes control of us, and we're the ones that kill Emmerich.
Done. Unsubscribing, done. Absolutely not.
My headcanon, by the way, is now that Nidhogg is Cell from DBZ, and if you pull the eyes out, he reverts forms.
Nope. So much nope.
If we can actually kill Emmerich,
it would be a good narrative device. It really would. Sure would.
Nope. Done.
Would be very.
Would you actually unsubscribe?
For a little while, maybe. I don't know if I would unsubscribe. I would turn off the computer and I would walk away and I would need to do some soul searching.
Nika takes a month off.
I think Emmerich's got to die. It's got to be.
He does have to die.
It's got to be either Emmerich or Estinian or both of them.
Estinian is definitely going to die. There's no question about it.
But this whole story
I think it should be both. I think it should be both. Yes, I agree with that. I see a lot of the narrative set up there.
Yeah.
Here's why Emmerich dies. He gets stabbed by a fucking sewer rat in Ishgard. How do you get stabbed by a no-name scum of the earth in your own hometown.
Yeah, he's not very good at
Anything.
at his job.
His guard isn't very good either.
No, they're
He's
not.
wearing armor. Come on, bro.
Wait, Melchior, are you still there?
Yes.
You could say
What
that
do you-
during the show.
What do you think about us accidentally killing Emmerich?
You guys are fucking assholes. That's what.
They're monsters.
Don't make me choose. God, because on the one hand, Estinian is the representation of the culminated rage the Ishgardians have for the Dravanians, but on the other hand, Aymeric represents the
ERP people.
They're just being built. The relationships that are trying to form between the Ishgardians and Dravanians. Like, he's the first step towards peace.
They're
so
complete
it's like,
opposites. Yeah.
yeah, and they're like two sides of the same coin because they want to end the war, but they're going about that. But
No, you make a compelling argument. Because if you throw a coin into the water, you don't just lose one side.
Well,
fuck you.
I really do think that it would even be better, right? If we are going to be the ones that kill Emmerich, that we actually have to initiate an action to do it. So it just sits there. It's like the end. It's like the end of Metal Gear Solid 3, where the game will just sit there and wait until you pull the trigger.
What if Emmerich finds a way to absorb Estinian and the eyes, and he comes up and takes your weapon, puts it right to his chest, and he's like, "You have to do it."
What if? Hang on. What if the combo, like the thing that looks sort of like Nail at the end of the trailer, is a combination of Emmerich and Estinian and the eyes?
Yes. Oh,
that's what makes him transform. It's Emmerich. It's bringing Emmerich. It's bringing Emmerich into the equation that makes him transform into the Nail Demon.
Like, he thinks he can stop him.
Yes.
So he's absorbed in as well.
Yes.
Oh.
I like this. This is great headcanon. This is great headcanon. I just wish that it would happen. Anyway,
well, that's the point of this segment.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Melchiria, for the call. We really appreciate it.
Any shout-outs?
Yeah, do you have any shout-outs real quick?
Fuck you guys.
Okay, then that's your shout-out.
That'd be a no.
Good shout-out.
So if you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. Our call-in line is fixed, thank God.
One last thing to add. As we kill him, as we deliver the final blow, it needs to, like the visuals of it,
right?
It needs to flash hearts and farts a few times. like we're remembering all the people we've lost.
Right. Straight up, yeah. We should be like doing this out of vengeance for Horsefant.
Or maybe just like neon signs that has like little neon hearts and a guy farting.
And then, oh my God, you know what? Even better, afterwards, like all the little cleanup stuff, when you're talking to Tataru, you start to notice she has some type of animosity for you, and she starts pointing out why is it that everyone around you dies. And it turns out she blames you for like Minfilia. Moonbrita.
That would be tough.
Who? None of our scions were dying before you showed up.
Who's this Moonbrita person?
Shut up, Alexa. Mute him.
All right. Well, that is going to take care of Limit Break Radio for today. Thank you, guys. We still got Paul Bunyan hanging on the line. Let's read a couple of emails before we take off here. We'll talk to Paul and then wrap it up before we got to be over for our next show, Final Encountercast, over at twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. We're going to be talking about Notch's recent tweets, and is he a sexist? Well, we're going to break all that down over on Final Encountercast. That's twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. Who wants to read this first email here?
I'm going to read the first email because I actually have some words for this person.
Okie dokie.
I don't know. I fucking hate your iPad.
Well, it hates you too.
I can tell.
Are those your words for the person?
Do you want me to read it? Are you okay? Do you need me to step in?
Go ahead. It's not fucking loading.
Square Enix caused the death of my free company, and I hate them for it. The way Kahlo, Escalia, Juxta, and Aniro speak of their free company and new house reminds me of my free company from 8 months ago. FC members were active in the game, posting to our FC forums, hanging out in the FC voice chat, and even playing other games with FC members. It was great. But then SE decided that the honeymoon was over. Endgame became ridiculous. Gear player progression became tiresome, little to no casual or mid-core group content, maps and dungeons can only be done so many times, the script system, the crafting profession system, all of these things caused our once incredibly active FC to see only 2 options of actively available to them when they logged on: face smash Alexander or grind for tomes. Minion and mount farming doesn't serve as content suitable for day in, day out content. The FC leaders tried to drum up more interest in the game. FC parties, costume contests, hide and seek, giveaways, and all kinds of things of other activities were scheduled. Some of these were successful, some were not. The FC leaders languished for months amongst themselves as they saw the slow death and decline of the FC due to the state of content from Square Enix. And then 3.1 was delayed. 3.1 was great for a week or two, but it was just delaying the inevitable. When an FC is dying because paid content can't keep players interested, not even the valiant efforts of player-run in-game activities can staunch the bleeding. Ultimately, it's that feel of community/liveliness, which is what is critical for a free company's success, in my opinion. It is, and I'm going to add to that, it's also critical for the success of any MMO.
Yeah.
But you need active members in addition to leaders logging in. And this is where it hurts a bit. I spent years with most of my FC, struggling through content, laughing at jokes, cursing RMT tells, and cheering the success of members. Now when I log in, only 4 members have logged in during the last 30 days.
Ouch.
Oh. We went from a top 25 FC to one that is essentially dead. Some of the members left for other free companies. Some even joined the LBR FC when they saw what was happening.
Woo!
It doesn't.
Sorry.
It doesn't bother me that people left for the FC. They wanted to continue to enjoy FF14, and my FC was no longer getting the job done. I tell myself that I should just join a new FC, but for some reason, I can't bring myself to do that. That was the FC I had from day one. I've invested years of my life into it. Leaving the FC would be a stab in the gut, but staying means I may not ever enjoy the game like I did before. This is the hardest choice I've ever had to make in an MMO. Quitting 11 was not this hard, and I don't know what I should do yet. It's the people who you surround yourself with which makes the MMO great, but the people need a game to give them a reason to stay. I guess the point of my rambling after hearing episode number 64 is to give you the encouragement to keep staying plugged into the game, but more importantly, to the people you play with, because if you don't, the game continues to drive people away. Well, I think we can guess what may happen. Essie, you killed my free company. I want to hate you for that, but I can't thank you enough for giving me the time I did have with my FC. I was far better to have been part of something great than to have never been there at all. And that comes from Gwenna Mindir, the Legion of Halone on Leviathan.
One thing about this email that really strikes me is, like, when we talk down about the game or we express frustrations with the state of the game, it's not just our opinions. When we do play the game, we do talk to people. We have people in the Twitch chat. We
Absolutely.
get emails. We're a lot of times reflecting these sorts of emails where we see people's frustrations.
Absolutely.
Even if we're not particularly, like, obviously we're doing well with our FC. We don't have as much a problem. But nevertheless, we see emails like that and we understand that frustration with
Absolutely.
Square Enix.
Well, see, I'm actually the complete opposite. I think that Gwenna's rage and frustration here is misplaced. I mean, you guys talk about the success of our FC.
Sure.
We don't do any. On Tuesdays we fucking run reset day.
Sure.
Well, we don't make things. We don't like
RFC isn't even a year old yet. It's brand new. We've still got that new FC smell.
And sometimes there are only 5 or 6 people on. Sometimes there's 24 people on. The point is, what makes an FC great is the people in it, not the amount of content necessarily in the game. Does it help? Of course it helps, okay? But Square Enix isn't the one that killed your FC. FCs live and die.
Yes.
Link shells live and die. You
Yes.
said it yourself. Some people went to other FCs. Some people went to the LBR FC. You're literally
sorry.
seeing the death of it. And that's no one's real fault because, like you said, your leaders actually put in the time and the effort to make content.
Absolutely.
But people are going to gradually leave for other games. It's an organic thing.
It puts you in a position where you've got, I mean, there used to be a very real thing where if in FF11, if link shell attendance wasn't where it was, that there would be serious recruiting efforts that went on. And if you're hemorrhaging people and not bringing new people in, because there is a churn with this game, just like any MMO, you're going to get an audience and a subscriber churn. It's just naturally what happens. There are new people who join in all the time. Old people get bored and start playing Overwatch. It's just what fucking happens, okay? So, when that is the case, and the thing is that free companies tend to get very insular and very isolated.
They absolutely can.
And the thing that is unique to Limit Break Radio is that we just accept anyone, everyone. If you just know Limit Break Radio, or even if you just know us by reputation alone, it doesn't matter. You're fucking in, and then you're part of the crew, and you're hanging out with us.
We had 3 people join a few weeks ago. None of them knew who we were.
Well, and I'm not saying that Gwenna is being or their free company is being exclusionary by any means.
No,
but I think that that's not one of the things that free companies immediately think of when when they're looking at the number of people
dwindling.
Dwindling is how are we going to get new people? How do we become attractive to new players? And I think events like that are very good.
Yep.
And I'm curious what the recruitment from that was like. Like if it were
give everyone the ability to invite.
Yes. Were those events used as recruitment tools to try to bring new blood in? Because, promotion is one thing, and just trying to get people to do stuff amongst your group is one thing, but using that as a recruitment tool to try to encourage people to join your group, I think, is also hugely important.
Now, the other big problem that Gwen is facing right now is this idea that they have to hold on to what the link shell was, that they have to stay and go down with the ship. That's the reason that this all seems like such a dire situation to you is because you want to stay, but there's nothing to stay for. Right. Everything around you is going to look bleak, okay? This is just one chapter of your life ending. Find a new FC and it'll all go away. You'll still have those memories. Obviously, you still have contact with those friends, be it through social media or actually still in game.
Right.
So don't be afraid to move on. You're not hurting. The only person you're hurting
is yourself.
By staying behind is yourself, and you're finding other ways to sort of blaming SE for the death of your free company is just one way that you're trying to deal with it. But
I don't know. I think that's something that is, I think, part of our generation. There used to be this thing, like when you grow up, you put all your toys in a box and you put them on a shelf and you never look at them again until you're an old man. That was a generational thing that went away. And I think that our generation is much more in touch with our childhood and much more in touch with the things that used to make us feel good when we were kids. And I think in a lot of ways we use that as escapism. And we use that as a way to block out, like, oh, I've got bills due. Or I had a tough day at work. Like a lot of it is it's a coping mechanism.
There's a great study going on about that right now because of the era we grew up in, where we grew up in the 90s, where things were very positive in the world. We all of us had our 1 to 12 years in there.
Sure.
So we had very positive influences in the 90s, and then the 2000s had both 9/11 and the recession. The big recession, which put was such a dampening thing in our teenage years. That most of us look so fondly back at our 90s thing, like we have a huge nostalgia thing that previous generations haven't had because of the way we grew up.
Right, and I think that there is some merit to that. But my point in bringing that up is I think it makes people our age a little bit, like decisions like this become a little bit tougher because you get emotionally invested in something, or you get emotionally attached to something, and you kind of don't want to see it change. Like I think we've all been there.
Sure. Can we all remember our favorite link shell that we were in FF11?
Absolutely. I mean, hell, I still talk about the Moonglow Defense Force from back in Ultima Online. These things are
I love the Moonglow Defense Force.
These things are all a part of you, and they get written into your DNA. And just because you leave the free company, you're just leaving a name behind. No one can take those memories from you. No one can take those experiences from you, and the only thing that you hurt is, like Kahlo said, you hurt yourself by preventing yourself from having further experiences in the future.
So here is what I ask of you, Gwenna. Leave your free company, okay? Find someplace else, whether it's another free company on your server, or just a link shell on your server, or hell, you're always fucking welcome over on Swagatonis in the LBR free company. Yeah. And this is the challenge I give to you. Find another FC and see if things don't turn around for you. Because I would think that as long as you find the right one, that within a week or two, you're going to look back and be like, holy shit, how did this all change so quickly? It wasn't anything that Square Enix had done.
Right.
It would just been on you just making the change. I mean, everyone else has.
Yeah. So if we had any kind of advice for you, that would be it. But I can also sympathize with how discouraging it is, because it is absolutely discouraging.
Of course. In fact, before we got our free company, before we made that change a while ago, I was kind of feeling some of the stuff that Gwenna was feeling, even with just LBR. Like, I was actually joining all kinds of other link shells, hoping to find some, little like tight-knit community that I could, hang out with and socialize with. And luckily, the free company has somehow, which is the exact same people that were in the link shell, but somehow just putting them into a free company changed that dynamic. So.
It does change the dynamic. I mean, I think that maybe that's something that's worth talking about, although I'm not sure how we would exactly talk about it. But the dynamic shifting from a free company or a link shell to a free company changes a lot of stuff there. So, all right, let's go back to our phone lines. We've got Paul Bunyan from Hyperion who's been hanging on the line. What's up, Paul? How's it going?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I did a little bit of digging. I didn't have to dig too far. I saw the 3.3 trailer video that we all saw, and I realized that I knew the location to the entrance of the deep dungeon right off the bat.
Interesting.
I sent some screenshots to the Discord chat. If you want to take a look at them, I included 2 screenshots from in-game along with a map screenshot to show you my exact location.
Okay, so where do you think?
The location is just south of Busker's Druthers in the South Shroud. That's
I know where he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's that giant fucking hole.
This just that giant chasm.
Yeah,
that's been
it's
there.
20x16y. It's that little chasm with a ladder dropping down into it. You got those two
rope ladder.
Yeah, you got those 2 guys up there. They were taking notes, looking down. Too chicken to go in themselves, and probably rightly so.
Yup.
That could be where it is. You're right.
And if you think about it too, within that zone, that's the entrance to the Thousand Miles of Total Rock. Also,
all the Amdapori shit.
Yeah, the Amdapori shit. Which I'm pretty sure that when you do a quest early on, they refer to Total Rock as some type of like the Maddening Halls or something to do with the dead. So with it being in close proximity like that, it makes all kinds of fucking sense.
That's a very good,
very astute observation.
Yes, very
Paul
astute
Bunyan.
Observation, Paul.
Good poop observation.
We'll definitely check out those screenshots. I wish I could put them on the stream. I'm not in Discord at the moment.
And Duke Block saying that it totally explains how Edda got down there. Not just because she's dead now, but falling down that deep chasm.
Maybe that's where it
could have led there.
Yeah,
easily.
And I was thinking there's one in, I think it's East Shroud, that it's like this big circle stone thing that it looks like the top has been caved in. It's right there kind of north of Fallgord. If you were headed to Hearist Mill,
I think I know what you're talking about.
You'd be running right past it. There's that. It's got a fork in the road that kind of goes more toward a wooded area, and then it also goes towards that the part where all the Dyrmites are. That's where I thought it was going to be, because that's been a location since 1.0, and we've never seen any kind of payoff for that location at all. But I like your idea, and that's definitely going to make me go check out that section of the map.
Just a little background: Istamhar and Thousand Miles of Todorak are all Gelmoran ruins. Gelmora was the civilization that proceeded after the fall of Amdapor, where the survivors went underground because of the fury of the elementals for their misuse of white magics.
Yeah, that you know what? All of that makes perfect sense. Good theorycraft in there, Paul. We appreciate the call today to Limit Break Radio. Got any shout-outs before we let you go?
Yes, I have some from my free company.
All right.
My free company is the Shenanigans Free Company of Hyperion. We have a manor in the Mist, and I want to give a shout out to all the people who have joined the Evil Evocation X link shell. It's a cross FC link shell for many of the folks that we met and befriended here on Hyperion. So shout out to them.
Cool. Thank you, Paul. We appreciate the call. And again, great theory crafting. Most of the chat is seems to be
I wonder if
echoing
Ethis has connected that yet or not.
I don't know. Let's take one more email here.
The one from No Name.
No, let's go down one. Let's take this other. Let's take this other email.
All right,
here.
I got this.
Yeah.
Hey, LBR. Hopefully the subject there caught your eye. Got a bit of a doozy here for you, and I apologize, but I felt that there was something I wanted to address. A lot of times during the cringeworthy cross-community drama, someone on the LBR is shit and you are shit for liking it side of things brings up the point that you are not community figures, to which you guys typically respond with, well, yeah, pretty much. Let me tell you why that's bullshit. I listened to FF11 era LBR when I couldn't afford to play. I listened to each of the 3-part episodes of early FF14 era when I couldn't afford to play Final Fantasy XIV either.
What was that? That's a new. That was a new sound.
Windows 10.
Oh, I bet Skype.
That's your Adobe update.
I thought I turned off all the Skype sounds.
Did you?
No, I thought I did.
I get that. That's Adobe.
Oh,
do you have
is
any
it?
Adobe programs installed on there?
Now he does.
Now I'm going to just have to turn off all of the sounds, which I did have. I had that set before, but goddamn you, fucking Windows!
Man, so not cool.
Seriously.
Then one day, after listening to one of the fractions of an episode at my new steady job, I decided to take the plunge. I'd wanted to play FF11 and FF14 before, but it was LBR that convinced me to finally give in and subscribe to Final Fantasy XIV now that I had the opportunity. It sounds really fucking lame, but I really have to say that extra little push you hosts at Limit Break Radio unknowingly gave to me, and others, no doubtably, changed my life.
Nice.
Seriously.
Nice.
Until I had become one of the 11 billion Final Fantasy XIV subscribers SE will boast about come FanFest time, I was one of the typical raging FPS tryhards that plagued so much of the gaming community. I was a sore loser, an obnoxious brat, and frankly, a general twat muffin in need of some serious ass beating. Speed hacks this, lag switch that, glitches, mods, noob tubes were the problem, not me. I was too good, and telling me to calm down just meant that you're one of them. As I grew within Final Fantasy XIV, I started to notice a serious change in my attitude. I wasn't playing competitive games anymore, and I started treating my fellow players as human beings rather than machines designed to overthrow legit MLG gamers, bro. Now I can play games cooperatively and competitively and not get so mad that I suck at them. It's not the end of the world. I can get good if I put in the effort. There will be players gooder than I.
Gooder.
Now spelled properly, too.
Right, yeah, of course.
Gooder.
Now, taking the mindset I've developed from playing Final Fantasy XIV, I'm improving across the board in skill and in attitude. Of course, this all probably sounds unrelated, but it really isn't. The whole time leveling up through Final Fantasy XIV, I listened to LBR week after week, getting more rooted within the community I was directly introduced to by you. If it wasn't for Limit Break Radio, I never would have thought to follow FF14-based streamers, tweeters, podcasters, and OST remixers. I would know nothing of Joe Never Fails, Juno Blue, Arthur, State of the Realm, Ride Hot, and so many more now that take up such a huge part of my time and keep me sane and entertained. Aside from that, moments on how the show have inspired me on a more personal level. Deep feels moments when Ascalia and Jux have helped encourage me to be more open about myself in the community in ways I was too afraid of as before. As a result, I've developed closer friendships with the FF14 community that I have in person in a long time. Being community figures isn't about always being agreeable or nice. It isn't about being officially sanctioned by the developers. Being community figures is about the community. You have connected with other members in the community in numerous unique ways, and I'm sure I'm not the only one to say that Limit Break Radio has actually changed my life. You may not be perfect, and you're frequently assholes, but you're community figures to us. Deal with it. Now that I've gushed enough rainbow vomit to cause another halt on housing reclamation, I'll shut up and let you take my money. Shout out to the developing Icarus Wings FC on Lamia, led by the wonderful bonkers roommate Icarus Fell, and of course to the LBR's extended family on Swagatanis and beyond. Lots of love from your new patron, Kasumi Cascade of Lamia and Swagatan.
Kasumi, thank you very much for that email. But something that I just want to point out, you know, a big reason why we don't claim to be community figures is, first of all, anyone who makes the claim, automatically, you're a douche rocket. Just stop fucking talking.
Yeah, see, the person who criticized Mithri by literally starting out with, I'm going to speak for the community here.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the people who come in and think that they are a voice for the community, which is something, like we're pretty specific. Like, look, we don't put that on ourselves. And there's something about the expectation of being in this position, because along with it comes like a whole bunch of comments. Well, if they're in this position, they shouldn't hold this. Yeah. They should not say this. It's all of that external expectation that people place on us, and we've been very clear since day one. Even if you do invest financially in the show, you are not buying an editorial stake in the program. We come out here and we give our opinions, or we do a bit that we think is going to be good or